Shout out Millennial Mike for the inspiration, the push, the nudge to do a whole new series on One Rental at a Time where we interview brand new investors. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you are as well. Next up, we got Miguel, man. How you doing, Miguel?
Good, good, good. Thanks for having me on here, Michael. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
I enjoy your channel and all the information you put out. So
Oh,
thanks for
man, I
having me on.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for the nice words. Well, do us a favor. Who is Miguel? Where you're at? What you're doing? What's your real estate story? We'll kind of start there.
So Miguel, right? I'm a husband, a father. I got two young boys, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So that's always fun. I do work a full-time W-2, and I invest in real estate. I currently have 11 rental units. I'm a little bit south of Sacramento, so I'm here in like the Northern California area.
Very, very cool. Well, I always like going back to the beginning. What's the story for the first property?
How much time we got, Michael?
We got 20 minutes.
I just kidding. No, so my journey started in 2010. So there's going to be an eye roll there. Like, oh, of course anybody could do it in 2010, but it also started over a decade later in 2020.
Oh,
so
there's a story.
There's a lot that happened in that time, and
let's do it. Let's peel back the onion.
Fun journey. So I guess it all started, right? I was in the military, deployed to Iraq. That was probably about the time I was able to save up every single penny. You know, whole year came back with like 40 grand. So I love that, right? I was like, I got $40,000, right? Didn't know what to do with it. Yeah, I was young. So I was really excited about it. It was 2010 around this time when I was getting out of the military. One of my uncles, he invested in real estate. He's like, you got to go buy your real estate, right? So 2010, as everybody knows, right? That was a time where homes were very cheap. But I'm here to tell you, Michael, that was literally the hardest time I had to buy a house. Okay. Yeah. So I was using my VA. Right. And at that time, yes, homes were cheap, but if you weren't paying cash, you weren't getting a home.
No, exactly.
Every weekend I was probably putting in like 7 offers every weekend. Like every weekend, the realtor was getting tired. I'm like, okay, 10 grand over asking, whatever it is, 20 grand over asking. And they're like, is it a VA? I'm like, yeah, I'm using a VA. Nope. Wasn't even considered. And at the time, I didn't have the knowledge of like, hey, why don't I try to figure something out to buy something cash and then refinance it later, right? So, I didn't have that skill set or those people around me. So I was every weekend putting in offers, nothing. So finally, I got a house, right? I got a house for myself before house hacking was a thing, right? I just lived with my buddies. That's what we called it. Live with my buddies. It was kind of like the party house, right? Everybody came over. It was fun, right? I rented out all the rooms because I was like, how am I going to make this mortgage payment? It was like $2 grand at the time. So all my buddies lived with me. It was fun. I mean, it was a good time.
Yep.
Same uncle, right? I'm telling him, hey, I want to start investing now, right? I want to get a rental. He's like, go to Bakersfield. I'm like, okay. And I live in Southern California, right? So Bakersfield. What's in Bakersfield? He's like, go check it. He's like, go check it out. He said, you could get you a cheaper fourplex out there. Go check it out. So we go to Bakersfield. This was the craziest thing I ever seen too. I mean, it was 2010.
Right.
So my buddy just got his real estate license. I'm like, dude, let's drive out there. He's like, what's in Bakersfield? He's like, I have no idea. My uncle said, do it. Let's go do it. Yeah. We go out there. There's literally a whole block. Like I'm talking an entire block foreclosed, all multi-units. Wow. And, me and my buddy are sitting there like, dude, I mean, this whole block is foreclosed. Like, how can we buy this stuff? We had no clue, right? We had no idea how to buy the homes, right? Like I knew I had 20% down, right? Is enough for like one multi-unit property. But at the time, it was literally blocks and blocks of just empty homes. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And so we go see a couple of them, and all the realtors are like, are you handy? I was like, not at all, because these homes, right? People were living in them, right? Squatting in them, ripping out the copper. So they needed a lot of work. But I had no skill set as far as doing construction or anything like that. So I ended up finding me one that was it was decent, right? People could live
Yeah.
in there right away. I bought it, and here we go. Some reason I thought I had to renovate the whole thing for some reason.
Uh,
I don't know why. Right. I bought it. I was like, oh, I gotta put new flooring, I gotta put new cabinets, I gotta do
it's just,
waste all of the money and all the things, right?
yeah.
But at that time, I tried to hire somebody to do the work, and they're like 25 bucks an hour. And I was working for a cell phone company. I only made about 15 bucks an hour. So
Ah,
I can't pay you 25 if
yeah,
I
if I'm
only make
making
15.
15.
So, there I was with like a little gallon of bucket trying to tile myself. It was terrible. So I
Mm,
called the same uncle up, right? Because he basically built all his homes. I was like, can you help me, please? He's like,
yeah.
all right. So he came up, he showed me so much. I learned so much. I learned how to do all the renovations. I learned how to do all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so I was like super grateful for that. I was like, I'm learning how to do all of this, being able to get it done.
Mm,
And he helped me out. So he didn't really charge me for his time. He was up there every weekend. So I really
wow.
appreciated that.
Nice. Shout out the
Yeah.
uncle. What's your uncle's first name?
Carlos.
Carlos. Nice work, buddy. Nice
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. So I was really grateful for that. And it really taught me a lot. So that was like the beginning of me
Mhm.
understanding, hey, how much work does that really take to do? How hard
Yeah,
is that? And that's really good to know.
absolutely.
Um, fast forward there though, it's rented,
Hmm.
and I get a job up here in Northern California.
Okay.
So I started working in the refinery. And at that time, right, it was like it's considered a good job, right? A good
Mm,
W-2 job. And
hmm.
of course, as soon as I get in there, I tell them I have rental properties in Bakersfield. Bakersfield, that was always everybody's,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then so I tell them, they're like, why do you want this rental property? You could work one overtime shift and you'll make what you're making in the whole month over there without the headache.
Mm.
So that kind of started to sink in a little bit. I was
Aha.
young, I was probably 27 or 26 at the time. I
Okay.
didn't really, have good money or anything like that growing up. So they're showing me their 401ks, like this is what you could retire from here. So I kind of started, as things started happening with the units, it was like, do I really want to go
Mm,
fix the air conditioning unit for what I could make in one overtime?
yeah, I
So
gotcha. All right.
yeah, being around that crowd, man, it was I don't know. If anybody takes anything out of anything, is if you're in the wrong mindset and around
Yeah.
the wrong people, it could hinder you big time. So it's very
Yeah.
important to, listen to your channel, go to meetups, be around people who are thinking bigger,
Yeah.
because
They're in
what
it. Yeah.
happened, yeah, I ended up selling them. I sold them.
Oh,
You know what? You're right. I took the tax hit. I
oh,
sold it. Yeah, it was terrible. And I only owed like 90K on those things. And now they're probably renting for like 4,500 bucks, all 4 units. So that's kind of, I think back, it's like, oh,
whoops.
shouldn't have done that.
All right. Well, how long did you own them? So you got it in 10, which was the tick of the bottom. So that's cool.
Yeah.
When did you sell?
I probably sold them. See, I got hired in 2011, probably around 2013. So I still
Yeah.
made a little bit,
Yeah, you
but
made
we
a
were
little bit, but
nowhere near
you didn't get the run up, right? What would a
the.
fourplex in Bakersfield go for today?
That same fourplex. So I bought it for 170.
Okay.
When I bought it, that same fourplex is probably going for like 400, I would think.
Mm.
I haven't really researched back
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
Bakersfield,
No,
but
don't look because I think it's closer to 500, but that's
yeah,
okay.
I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look. And
It's funny.
one of the things is that the agent who was helping me sell, he
Mm.
was like, "Hey, I have a 10 unit that's really distressed. If you want to roll this into that." And
Ah,
oh man, something was telling me do it because I love real estate. I really enjoyed it. But being, obviously me being me, I tell these guys at work who don't care
yeah.
about this, like, hey, I got this opportunity, and they're like, why? Why would you
Why?
do that?
Why would you do that again? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
why would you do? Look at this 401k, right? And in hindsight, it wasn't even that much that they were showing me at the time. I'm like, what? Yeah. Oh man, it was terrible.
Oh, oh, that happens. All right. Well, you come back, so you get in, you get out. When do you come back and see real estate again?
Okay, so I do that. I buy my personal residence, right? Because
Sure.
I ended up just getting that money and way, 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 way over rehabbing my property, my personal residence, right? Because that was a cool thing to do. I had to go buy the commercial wolf range, right? I had to go
Mm.
all of the things that were not necessary for a single guy who had no kids at the
Yeah,
time in a
Wolf Ranch.
5-bedroom house. Yeah, it was terrible. So
Oh, it's
I,
funny.
I dumped way too much money in this house. And I did get lucky that we had a run up, during that time because that was probably 2018, maybe something
Okay.
right around
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
we were getting a little bit of a run up, and then Michael, everybody's always like, "Hey, what books do you recommend?" And what do you listen to? And it's funny because every book has its moment in people's lives, right? Like
Yep.
I could recommend a book, but it's not going to be as impactful,
Right.
depending on where you're at in your life, right? And what stages you're at. So, at that time, I was just tired of it because, I mean, my credit cards were getting maxed out trying to fix this place up. Yeah, I was
Right.
making
Right.
100 grand single, still maxing out cards to fix this place up for no reason.
Wow.
So I finally I sold the house, paid everything off, and I was able to buy a condo cash. So I
Okay.
cashed out a small 1-bedroom condo. I still had to have the cool truck, so I spent the rest of the money and I cashed out a truck, and then I had some money in stocks.
Okay.
So I sold that home.
Mm.
I had the condo and I had cash, and then me and the fiance, right, we started getting a little closer, and here comes the baby. So all of a sudden that one
Ah,
bedroom,
not gonna work.
that 1 bedroom just not gonna work anymore. So it's like, okay, here we go again, right? So I this time I was kind of thinking, I was like, hey, I had no more real estate at that time, right? I just had my 1-bedroom condo, everything was
Right.
sold,
Right.
and I bought a house that had a huge back lot. So before ADUs were the thing that they are today, they just call them granny flats back. That's what they were
Right.
called, granny.
Yeah.
That same uncle, right? My uncle, love my uncle and his
Carlos.
guidance.
Carlos
Yeah,
coming
Carlos.
through.
He's like, hey, get you something with a big lot and build a granny flat in the back, and that could be a little bit extra income. Because what he did is he bought lots in San Diego and just infilled them, and he
Mhm.
will build them himself, right? That's what he did, and that's how he learned. So that's the advice he gave me.
Okay.
And at that time, I was like, okay, I bought a house. It had a huge lot, huge corner lot on it. Do your due diligence because it was near refineries and there was actually a pipeline
Oh,
underground, so I couldn't use the entire lot,
yeah.
which that would have been nice to know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That'd have been good to know. Yeah.
So he ended up buying that house, and now we're going kind of into like 2019, right?
Okay.
I'm like, okay, let me pull the permits. Nobody kind of ADUs weren't really a thing, so it was really hard to work with the city. I was
Mhm.
trying to do it all myself, right? Because
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to do it.
Hmm.
Finally got the permits approved, started doing construction, and then 2020 happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
COVID, right? So I had just transferred jobs, right? And to backtrack a little bit about when certain books kind of hit you at
Yeah.
certain times in your life. So I don't know if you know this guy, Dave Ramsey.
Oh yeah. I know.
So me and my wife, we were like getting ready to get married, right? And we were looking at venues, and we were kind of checking the places out. We were in Mexico. We were thinking Mexico or Hawaii. We wanted to do something
Oh
kind of
yeah.
tropical. And we found a place, and we kind of looked at each other, and we're like, well, how are we gonna pay for this?
Yeah.
So it kind of hit us a little bit, like, wow, we're both making really good money. Yeah, I was in the 6 figures and she was making good money, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
why can't we just cut a check to pay for this venue right now? I go, this is kind of, it's embarrassing. Like, why can't we do
Mhm.
this? And right at that same time, her sister's like, hey, you should listen to this guy. He's pretty interesting, right? It was an audiobook, and it was Dave Ramsey. And he was talking about everything that kind of we were going through at the time.
Yeah.
So we went all in on Ramsey. I mean,
Yeah.
I sold my truck. We sold her car, right? I went from I had a Ford Raptor. It was like a bigger truck, right? I sold
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and I got my wife's first car. I started driving her old hand-me-down car. It was a tiny little Scion. All the guys I work with make fun of me, like, hey, Miguel's pulling up in the toaster. I was the one. So I was like, man. So, and then we sold her car.
Yeah.
We bought cars for cash. We ended up selling everything, paid everything off, shredded the cards. Pretty much started paying down the house, right? We started getting everything paid down. Then we got a visit from my uncle, right? The same uncle. And we were going to pay off our house completely and build the back unit cash. My uncle comes by and he's like, dude, no.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing? And he's like, no. I'm like, you got to go debt free, blah, 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 blah. He's like, yeah, that's cool and everything. He's like, but you need to leverage the banks to build these houses. Like, you need to get more houses. You need to probably use the banks. He's like, you want to do it with the cars and all that stuff? Fine. But he's like, but you need to leverage it out. So I was a big believer. I started seeing it, right? I was like, dude, Ramsey's cool up until that point, right? Okay. You've gotten rid of all your debt. You know how to manage your money now. Because we were on the envelope system, right? So we were like having to put groceries back when it didn't have cash. Like, how embarrassing that is? Where it's like, oh man. I go, just go ahead and put that back.
Put it back. I don't care what aisle it's on. Drop it here.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing, right? But you need that. I feel like we needed that because that was like a driver for us to kind of like, let's do this. We're committed, right?
Better money habits is important. Better money habits.
Yeah, we had it. And my wife, right? She had student loan debt. We paid off all the debt. We paid everything off, so it felt good. Yeah. I was like, and it was really cool that she was on board. Like once she seen me kind of selling all of my things, right? And she jumped on board, and it became real powerful because we were working together, right? And I seen the interview you were doing, and you talk about like when couples are on the same page, and that's so key.
It's powerful.
It's so powerful. I mean, if you guys are married and you're trying to do your own thing in separate ways, it's so hard. It's so hard to get to the same goal. So, shout out to her. She was on board, and I was like, dude, thank God.
And your wife's first name is what?
Teresa.
Teresa, nice job, Teresa.
Yeah. So that was a journey in itself, kind of talking her into that and getting to the point. Like I said, we're putting, groceries back. We pay for it was so hard. All that was all a process, but it was a learning process, and it got us so aware of our money. People were like, hey, I spent $1.70 on the vending machine. Like, you're cheap ass. It's like, not about cheap, but I'm aware where every single dollar is going. I was tracking everything because I just wanted to know. And that really helped us a lot.
Yeah.
And then, so my uncle comes around. He's like, that's enough of that, right? Cool.
Yeah, it's enough of that. Gotta love Carlos. Okay, kid, stop it.
Yeah. And he's like, he's like, let's build this unit. He's like, what are you waiting for? Let's go. So, all right, let's go. Start paying, got the plans drawn up, got everything going. And like I said, 2020 hit. Oh, also backtracking. So part of going Ramsey, it really freed us up because since we had no other debt and our mortgage payment was so low, like between both of us, we're probably making like $200K. And our only debt was our mortgage payment was like $2,200.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. But that allowed us to venture to other things. So at that time, I was in the refinery. I wasn't very happy there. I mean, they worked us a ton. I mean, one of the major turning points for me to get kind of back on this was we were short staffed, and they were like, hey, you need to be here or you're going to be AWOL for my son's birthday. Right. And oh man, that was like a stab in the heart. I was like, dude, you're telling me that, like, yeah, you need to be here. So it was kind of like, no matter how good your job is, what, and I enjoy my job now, but no matter how good it is, at the end of the day, you don't have control of your time. You just don't. They say you have to be there, you're going to have to be there. And it was kind of sad, like, oh, all right. So to me, I still hang on to that. Like, okay, when things get hard, it's like, okay, remember that feeling? Yeah. I was like, okay, let's keep going. I don't want to do that.
I don't do that again.
No, I'm hanging on to that one.
Yeah.
So I started looking into other jobs. I was like, you know what? I don't need to make as much anymore. I go, let me avoid my commute. Right. Yeah. I go, because I lived literally right next door to a refinery, but I was driving 20 minutes to another one. So I just applied for the one next door and I got it. Right. And I was like, oh, now I only have a 10-minute commute. So I was like, perfect. And then the wife was kind of doing the same thing. She's like, hey, I don't have to be in the same area. So it allowed us to move into things that benefited us. And then since I moved to that, I was like, well, I don't have seniority anymore. I go, why not go apply for a better position that pays double? Right. So I was able to do that. And then I got that. And then the wife's like, hey, me too. Right. So we kind of been helping each other out, not having that debt
Yeah,
gives you the
that's awesome.
flexibility of like, all right, your turn, right? You go take the risk. And
Yep.
then I got this job, and then she's like, "Hey, I want to start my own business." So I was like, "Go for it." I'm
Yeah.
holding down the anchor here, so she went for it, and it started going good, right? So we're kind of helping each other up. So
That's
yeah,
pretty
it's really
awesome.
cool. So
Oh, that's
anybody out there, right? Like, there's so much power in just
yep.
getting rid of a lot of that stuff because
Oh,
it
amen.
opens up doors that you don't think about, right? Not even looking at the math or like, oh, the interest rate here, here, here. Just the fact that you don't have that, it opens up opportunities where it's like, I could do that and take the pay cut. It's fine.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think that's
So
wonderful. That was wonderful.
yeah. Okay. So I thought we start building the ADU, right? We
Mhm.
finally start building this ADU. At the county, I could build 1,000 square feet in a 1-car garage, right?
Mhm.
So it was pretty good size ADU.
Yeah.
Uh, Started building it, got it done right before kind of COVID pricing really took off.
Mm.
So I was able to kind of get it done fairly cheap, compared to what it would have cost me had I waited 9 more
Yeah.
months,
Yeah.
or tried
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do it all cash. That would have been that would have been terrible. So I got a private money loan to
Okay.
build the ADU, and my plan was to just refinance out
Mm.
and pay them back. One slight problem. One slight problem. ADUs were brand new at the time.
Yeah.
They still are. They still are. Appraisers don't know how to appraise them properly. I
Yep.
feel like they don't know how to appraise them
No,
properly.
yeah. You're right.
Yeah, they don't. They feel like they got it down right. So I built this 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage. It cost me about 250,000
Okay.
to build.
Yeah.
And I already had equity in my front house. So I wasn't really worried about doing the refinance, but I wanted extra cash to go reinvest.
Right.
And then they came back and they told me that they're only giving me $50K for appraisal unit for the back. I was like,
Wow. What are you doing?
and I showed them a lease. I'm like, it's rented for $2,500 right now. I
Yeah.
go, you're only gonna give me $50K on appraisal, and
Wow.
I tried to fight it, right, and it came back with the same result. Basically, it was
Mm.
like, hey, there's no sales
Yeah.
with
No
80.
comps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no comps. There's no way we could give you this because there's no comps in the area.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, this really sucks.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
way, it's good because it gave me more cash flow, which
Mhm.
is cool. But at the same time, I didn't want cash flow at that time. I wanted the equity to
Yeah.
go invest, right?
Okay.
So I was able to get that money out, right? That was
Good.
the first rental unit. That was 2020. Finished it up, got the first rental unit. After that, right, I started hitting it, looking for deals. I was able to, all my deals came on market, right? I haven't
Mm.
done an off market deal yet. I'm hoping to do that soon, but I haven't done one
Yeah.
yet. So it's similar to you, right? We're on
Yeah.
market, working your W-2, right? Getting a job.
Yeah. I like it.
Similar path.
I see myself in you. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably with less grace.
That's funny. I'm older than you, I'm sure. I'm sure. So where's the next one come?
Okay, so the next one, right? So I start looking for the new job, right?
Yep.
Which it's a higher paying job, for a local utility company, and it was just a better position, and I got it. So I was like, I might as well move over there because, housing was cheaper. And this is, I don't know if you know the area. It's like a Vacaville,
Oh
Fairfield
yeah, I
area.
know Vacaville. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I moved to Vacaville, and while I was there, I was looking at Fairfield. I'm like, well, these things are cheap because I came from Martinez, right?
Yeah.
Martinez, Contra
Yeah.
Costa area. So
Sure.
it was a lot cheaper, and the numbers made sense.
Yep.
So I picked
Nice.
up a duplex, right? I was able to get some private money lenders, and we
Okay.
bought that one cash, right?
Yep.
So I was able to get in cash, fix it up, and then refinance that one out.
Okay.
And then with that refinance, my private money lender was like, "Good, let's keep it going."
Let's
Things are
roll it
going
again.
good. But he's like, "Let's keep it going." So I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was able to pick up another duplex on market, right?
Yep.
And it all came from, like you said, doing the work. I mean, I knew right away whether the property was a great deal, because at that
Yep.
time you were telling everybody do only great deals.
Only great. Yep. Yep.
So I knew right away if it was a great deal or if it was a good deal, and I had to wait a while to try to bring the price
Mm,
down.
I
Because
like it. Yeah.
it's very hard to try to lowball somebody or come in on a lower price when it
Yeah.
first lists. When
Oh,
it's first
for
listed,
sure.
yeah, people are gonna be like, nah, we'll wait and see what
Yeah, we'll
happens,
wait.
right?
Yeah.
And it's always harder to come back from that. So if it didn't meet the great price criteria, I was just waiting.
Okay. I
So
like it.
Yeah, I was just waiting, and then I was like, I'll follow back up with that one in a couple weeks or months or
Nice.
whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah, but
Nice.
with that being said, there was some that came up. I was like, dude, this is a great deal. I go, there's not a lot of comps in this area. They
Uh-huh.
underpriced it. I
Yeah.
believe so. I mean, the whole
Right.
it was doing like 3 to 4% return. This one was 8. I was
There you
like,
go.
oh man.
Let's roll.
Yeah, exactly. So the first day it hit the market, I was like, I'm in full ask. Like, I'm not
Yep.
even ask, but I need an answer today. I was like, I am not
Right.
waiting around for this thing to get shopped around or anything. So locked up the second duplex right there, right?
Mm.
Got that one. That one was more conventional. I think I just put 20% down. I ended up turning it around, right? We got the place fixed up, got new tenants in there. And during that time, the rents were kind of climbing. This is like 2021. So,
Yeah.
I ended up being almost 10% just
Mm.
doing the renovation. Yeah, I was just like, wow,
This is awesome.
for real estate, man. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Um,
So where's the story end? Where Miguel and your wife Teresa, where are you guys at today?
so where we're at today, um, we ended up buying one more 5 unit because my goal was to have a multi-unit and
Sure.
commercial property. That put me there.
Yeah.
Uh, Steve Dow actually helped me get to that finish line because this place needed work and nobody else wanted to
Uh,
touch it.
oh,
Right.
good job,
So
Steven.
yeah, we bought that. We're fixing that up. Currently, me and my wife we're kind of working together, and I joined Jason Pritchard's mentorship program.
Oh, I like Jason. Yeah.
Dude,
Awesome.
he's awesome. He's awesome. He's been helping out so much. I feel like if I were to start from scratch, trying to do what he did, like I feel like I already leapfrogged 5, 6 years. Just
Yeah.
listening to him and following him that picks up the pace so fast. So
Yeah.
now I'm focusing on off market stuff. I
Okay.
want to try to do a flip. Those are some of my goals for next year. I want to do a flip or some wholesales to continue to buy more buy and hold.
There you go.
Um,
You got to create
yeah,
some chunk money, so the chunk
exactly.
money converts
That
to
money
buy and hold.
and also get first dibs on the deal, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
important.
I'll
I'm
take that
fixing this
one.
one. Yeah. I'm pretty much telling myself I have to convince myself to sell it. Like it has to be an alligator,
Yeah.
right? If it's
There
not an
you go.
alligator, it's like, man, I'm probably going to hang on to it because I really believe in this area. It's growing and
Yeah.
it's so much happening over here. And so, yeah, so right now I'm working with him and he's been
Awesome.
great and I've been learning so much and I'm just kind of keeping at it. And that's our ultimate goal is to eventually do the transition from my W-2 to that.
Yeah.
I love my W-2. It's good. It's great. But
Yeah.
eventually
Don't be
I
in a
feel like,
rush. Yeah.
oh
Don't be in a
yeah,
rush. Yeah. Just.
W-2s in real estate business have such a bad stigma. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel
No
like,
joke. Right. No joke.
yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
get it.
people are like, oh, you're an imposter, right? It's like there's so many benefits to it.
Yeah.
It's
Better
ridiculous.
loads, better rates. I have a oh
Yeah,
shit plan. Oh, by the
yeah,
way, when I'm out, I'm out. I don't have, I mean, some of these full-time
exactly.
guys work harder than, I did
Oh
during
yeah,
my job and make less money.
exactly.
So it's like, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And also, it helps find the holes in your business. Because
Yes.
before I was doing everything myself, right? And it was like, I can't keep showing this apartment because I got to get it rented. It's like, maybe I'll get a property manager. Boom, I found a good one, right? It's like, I can't go fix this stuff. I don't have time for it. I got my kids, they're in sports, I coach it. And then I work a ton of hours. So it's like, I
Yeah.
need somebody to help me do that, right? So,
Yeah.
and this is kind of like, it's such a huge benefit. That's what people are like, oh, how soon do you want to get out? It's like, I don't want to
No,
get out
no
until my
rush.
business is
Yeah.
streamlining so easily that,
I like it.
really the shift could be a lot easier if I wanted to. It's like, I don't have to wear every hat in the business,
Yeah,
right?
trust me, getting out when you've got your nut covered 3 or 4 times is amazing. A lot of
Yeah.
freedom, a lot of options. You're not rushed. You're not feeling that pressure. So, Miguel, you're doing amazing. You and Teresa are doing great. Carlos,
Thank
your
you.
uncle, doing well. Jason Pritchard, Stephen Dow, thank you for being a part of One Rental at a Time. Miguel, where can people follow you or reach out?
I'm on Instagram, Miguel.Ochoa at REI.
There you
Um,
go.
and I'm gonna be starting YouTube. That's one of my goals is I'm gonna be
Woohoo!
more actively on social media and stuff. So I appreciate this, Zuber. This will definitely be the first of it. And
Cool.
thanks for your time. And hopefully the story helps, man. I
Oh
hope
yeah.
people just kind of are able to stick around the right type of people, listen to your channel, listen to your type of stuff, and you know. constantly put in positivity in your
You
mind.
got to keep on it, because it's, you get that negative thought, it could just, it's like an earworm. It'll
Yep,
mess with you. It'll mess with you.
100%.
All right, Miguel. Happy New
Thank you.
Year. Happy holidays. Say hi to Teresa and the kids.
All right,
Thanks.
have a good one. See ya.
Yep. Bye.